Keeping your pet healthy can feel like a lot sometimes, but PetSmart makes it super simple. They've got food tailored to your pet's needs, supplements so you can stay ahead of any issues, and even prescriptions that show up right at your door. And here's the hack. Set it all up on auto ship. It just arrives when you need it. Plus, you save 35% on your first PetSmart auto ship order and 5% on the ones after that. You can stay on top of your pet's healthy routine without stressing. Order what they need and set up auto ship at PetSmart.com.
Prosecutors are preparing to seek an indictment against James Comey as soon as today. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Thursday, September 25th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories.
Which one you're amazing? Yeah, bro.
James Comey was the director of the FBI from 2013 to 2017, appointed by President Barack Obama. He investigated efforts to influence the 2016 presidential election, probing possible but ultimately unproven collaboration between Russia and the Trump campaign. So President Trump isn't a fan. He fired Comey in 2017. And last weekend, Comey was among the officials Trump publicly called for his attorney general to prosecute. The Justice Department is preparing to seek an indictment against him for allegedly giving false testimony to Congress in 2020. Under the statute of limitations, the deadline to seek an indictment against Comey is Tuesday, 5 years from the date of that testimony. So, prosecutors in the Eastern District of Virginia are preparing to present their case to a grand jury as early as today. Any effort to indict Comey must be approved by at least 12 members of a grand jury. Or the panel could also choose to reject the government's case.
Grease from
An ICE facility in Dallas was targeted in a fatal shooting. That's number 2. Authorities called yesterday's shooting a targeted act of violence against immigration enforcement agents. A detainee was killed and 2 other people were critically wounded before the gunman fatally shot himself. No law enforcement officers were injured in the attack. The suspected shooter was identified as 29-year-old Joshua Young, according to people briefed on the investigation. Investigators have not yet identified a clear motive, but President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance quickly seized on the incident as politically motivated violence and pointed the finger at Democrats. Here's Vance speaking yesterday. He named California Governor Gavin Newsom specifically while blaming the critics of Trump's immigration policies for violence.
You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America.
Authorities said that unused ammunition recovered at the scene was marked with the phrase anti-ICE.
Whoa, Ariel.
Number 3. The World Health Organization rejected Trump's claims that using acetaminophen during pregnancy can lead to autism. This week, the Trump administration shared guidance warning against the use of Tylenol during pregnancy. That has led to international pushback from health leaders and autism advocates. Acetaminophen is the active ingredient in Tylenol, but it's also found in 600 other medications.
I don't either.
Yesterday, the World Health Organization said there was, quote, no conclusive scientific evidence confirming a possible link. It also stressed that the exact cause of autism has not been established. Many major medical associations say the pain medication is safe. Studies into the relationship between acetaminophen and autism have not proved a causal link. Number 4 is a Post exclusive. The leader of FEMA could not be reached for about 24 hours in the aftermath of deadly floods in Texas in July. After one of the nation's worst flash floods in decades, FEMA's top official, David Richardson, was needed to approve deployment of life-saving resources to Texas. But
Get outta
according to
here.
key officials, nobody could reach him. That delayed teams with specialized equipment for search operations from being deployed. More than 130 people were killed in the floods. By law, Richardson is supposed to be accessible during emergencies. But according to staff at the agency, he is often inaccessible during evenings and weekends. Richardson told House lawmakers at a July hearing that he had been in constant contact with administration and Texas officials while on vacation with his sons during the disaster. Kamala Harris is trying to distance herself from former President Joe Biden. That's number 5. Last night in New York, the former vice president and 2024 presidential candidate kicked off her book tour for her new memoir, 107 Days. But not everyone in the audience was there to hear about the book.
Talk to your president.
Those were pro-Palestinian
Congratulations.
protesters yelling at Harris
You just
and
won
Harris
$1
fans
million.
yelling at the protesters. Harris pushed
Hey,
back,
Christopher, leave that
distancing
alone.
herself
We're
from
gonna put some,
Biden's policy
food
on
in.
Gaza and suggesting she disagreed with it behind closed doors. And she said this to the crowd.
What's happening right now in Gaza, what is happening to the Palestinian people is outrageous and it breaks my heart.
Divisions in the Democratic Party over Israel policy dogged Harris's campaign.
That's okay.
More recently, some prominent Democrats have been shifting their position on Israel as famine
Give
spreads
that
in
stuff
Gaza.
away. Yo, Christopher, I have the ball.
Number 6. A treatment for Huntington's disease
Get out of
slowed
there,
its
now.
progression in a small study. Huntington's is a genetic disease that robs people of control over their bodies and minds. People with the disease often develop symptoms in their 40s and progress to severe disability and death over about 2 decades. They're ravaged by jerky and involuntary movements, behavior disruptions, and cognitive decline. But for the first time, an experimental treatment has slowed the devastating progression of the disease by 75%. It's an early result from a small trial that hasn't been published or peer-reviewed yet, but it's a rare, hopeful advance. About 40,000 people in the U.S. have symptomatic Huntington's. And at number 7,
Engines full power, and lift off. Go Falcon, go IMAX, go Swifo L1, and go Corruptors.
NASA launched 3 new spacecraft to study the sun. One satellite is the first to be dedicated to 24/7 monitoring of the sun for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. It will be able to offer early warnings of solar storms, which can produce beautiful displays of the northern and southern lights, but also disrupt our power grids and communication systems. Another spacecraft will create unprecedented maps of our solar neighborhood, and the third will study the invisible halo around the Earth. That was first imaged by Apollo astronauts in 1972. Together, the 3 spacecraft will help humans better understand how activity from the sun's surface affects the rest of the solar system, including our lives here on Earth.
What matter?